United States. Those are some of the most important 7 words of our nation. This document of liberty and justice does many things that make America the greatest nation in the world. The Constitution also gives us rights that we exercise every day, whether we know it or not. If there's one right that is the most important to our country, it's the right to vote. Lyndon B. Johnson said, "Voting is the most powerful instrument ever devised by man for breaking down injustice and destroying the terrible walls which imprison man." Voting is pride. Voting is security. Voting is dignity. Yet NBC News says 40% of eligible voters decide they're too good for voting, decide that voting isn't cool, decide to rip up the Constitution and throw it back at our founding fathers' face. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Martin Luther King Jr., and Rosa Parks. These brave people fought in some way or another for our right to vote. Are we going to let their work go to ashes? Ashes of bitterness and rebelliousness and malice and spitefulness. Casting a ballot is our civil duty, a civil duty given to us through a voyage, a revolution, 2 great wars, a depression, and many other hardships. If people think voting is not cool, what does that say about them? It says they have no respect for the past that Americans had to endure. Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "Nobody will ever deprive the American people of the right to vote except the American people themselves. And the only way they can do that is by not voting." If you don't vote, what are you doing? If you don't vote, you become that 40% of Americans who feel their vote doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. You do matter. Your vote makes the biggest impact ever. Your vote gets you the person who will think of your needs while in the office of the President of the United States. Democratic, Republican, Independent, Green, your vote matters. Don't let 60% of America decide who's going to be in office. What is the #1 political topic in America? How bad the president did his job. Who talks about it the most? Non-voters. Why do they talk about it? Because they're upset that the president they wanted wasn't picked, even though they had no say in the vote whatsoever. According to InfoPlease.com, the closest presidential race in U.S. history was John F. Kennedy versus Richard Nixon in 1960. JFK won by 0.1%. That's 84 electoral votes. That's 100,018,574 population votes. That's 2,071 votes per state. That's less than 1 vote per major urban area. A vote that a complaining non-voter could have gotten for their candidate. Next time, vote and change history. Next time.